But anyway, let's go on to an article here I have from Deadline Hollywood. Spider-Man No Way Home global box office to sling minimum of 290 million opening weekend. So I was talking about this earlier. This needs to be an absolute home run for Walt Disney, for Marvel, for the MCU as a whole, for Kevin Feige. This needs to be an absolute home run. This film, and by home run, $100 million. If this film can't make $100 million this weekend, you might as well start closing out the MCU and packing up your bags and figuring out something else and looking through the $70 billion worth of 20th Century Fox IP that you bought and start digging through the well, because the MCU, the cash cow, might be up if this film can't make if this film can't make $100 million. Do I think it's going to? Absolutely. If it doesn't, it's an absolute travesty, and Disney might as well start thinking another direction here. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think this film's going to make $100 million. But it's going to be a real barometer for films, going into 2022, as far as, will studios be pushing films back again, with the Omicron scare and all that? Will they bite on it and, push the films back? We don't know. But let's take a look here. For all Miss Higas, I don't know what that means. What is this word? Oh, senseless behavior. Miss Higas. Oh, it's a Yiddish word. Interesting. Anyway, had to do a little grammar check there. See, if I see a word I don't know, I always like to look it up, and then if it's something I think is cool, I'll put it in the pocket for later. Anyway, it has endured through the pandemic, including streaming threats, day-to-day window crunching, blah blah blah. Spider-Man No Way Home arrives. The reliable 18 to 34 crowd. I mean, this is it, man. This is what they're going for. They need no holiday distraction, a weekend rainstorm in LA. Alarmist news headlines that'll prevent people. Yeah, and that's the question. Are people going to go out this weekend and see this film? I personally, anecdotally, know a few that are actually going to go out and see this today, which is, this is Thursday the 16th that I'm recording this. People are going out to see this today. So I think absolutely, people are excited for this. And I think, this is the first big film since Endgame of the MCU. I don't think this is even going to make close to Endgame money. Absolutely not. And it's not expected to. I mean, we're not going to be reaching those 200 million weekends for a while, I think. I think it's going to take some time before we start getting back to the days of $200 million opening weekends domestically. That's not in the cards for this film. There's no way it can make 200. Now, let's continue here. Conan's the 200. Between Sony and Disney, the latter who co-financed this $200 million sequel at 25%, also having Tom Holland's web slinger in another Disney Marvel film, the multiverse tee-up or culmination. And yep, this is what I think they're doing. They're gonna you could kind of foresee this once Sony and Marvel made the deal. You're like, okay, so they're gonna share Spider-Man, and it didn't seem like it was gonna be that way. But I think with the Venom film, post-credit scene where he sees Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Spoiler alert, sorry. But that film came out a couple months ago. Come on. Anyway, with that post-credit scene and all that, it was a no-brainer for Sony and Disney to share Spider-Man. It was a no-brainer for them. So, it was only a matter of time before we got that. And now they're just how they're gonna do it historically and canonically is they're gonna use the multiverse as a way to kind of share the IP. I mean, I guess, and that's the thing. You can already see they're starting to scrape for the barrel, which is why I'm even bringing up this as a concern in the first place. Most of the time, a Spider-Man MCU film. I mean, the other ones made over 100 like that. I'm pretty sure. I don't quote me on that. Actually, let's look for ourselves. Homecoming. How much did it make opening weekend? Spider-Man Homecoming. Yeah, it made 117 million right here. 117,027,503 dollars, and made over 800 million. So yeah, there's that one. That one made over 100. Coming off the Oh wait, I'm sorry. I was gonna say coming off the heels of Endgame, but that hadn't come out yet. This one was the one that came off the heels of Endgame, Far From Home. And this one, I can't recall if this one made over 100. I'm pretty sure it did. No, it made 92. Yeah, this one made under 100. But again, this was coming off the heels. Endgame, I'm pretty sure, was even still in theaters at this point. So it's like, even making the comparison is a little bit, But, nevertheless, I think this movie is going to make over 100. If not, but again, Far From Home only made 92. I didn't even realize that it didn't make over 100. But I mean, did it make $1 billion for the year? I mean, did it make $1 billion? Yeah, it made $1 billion worldwide, not for the year. I mean, worldwide, yes, it made $1 billion, which Homecoming did not. So we'll have to see what this does. I mean, and I'll give a prediction before I go see the film here. But anyway, going back to this, fans are expecting a smart sequel that raises the stakes no other way Spider-Man has. What they've been asking for, arguably more action in No Way Home than in Shang-Chi, and follow more heart than the Byzantine plotted Eternals. As far as Sony is seeing at least $130 million in Thursday previews. So they're thinking 130, and that's, I'm probably, I'll give my prediction, but is that what Sony's saying? Is it says U.S. Canada go, I can't read today. U.S. Canada prospects go. Sony is seeing at least $130 million at 4,325 locations in Thursday previews, starting very early at 3 p.m. with all the strength of IMAX and PLF screens, and possibly even 200. What was it say? Rivals in tracking see the opening much higher in the 175 million plus range, possibly even 200 million. Even though everyone is high because No Way Home is the biggest movie they've seen on tracking for quite some time. Right, and that's why it's kind of fun to predict films right now and predict the box office. Because like before, it was like, you kind of had an idea of what films were going to flop and which ones were going to make money. But now it's just like, who knows, man? And I mean, we'll have to see what happens. Because I mean, again, they're going to use, and that's the thing. If this film doesn't make money, COVID will be the reason. That's what Disney will claim, and Sony. Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. I mean, the only thing that's making me think that it won't make money is that a lot of the films in the last couple of months have just not been making money. Ridley Scott's Last Duel didn't make money. Eternals didn't make that much money. Shang-Chi didn't make that much money. Black Widow made 80 million. So like, if this can't beat Black Widow, what are you doing? And I know Black Widow's a July release, but still, like, come on. This is Spider-Man. This is your biggest IP. And it's a Christmas slate. Like, this movie should make a crap ton of money. And I think it's going to. It's just a matter of, who's really gonna rush out and see this. But we'll do my prediction now for money and how much this is gonna make. If I had to predict what this was gonna do as far as money, I would say I'm gonna probably go 120 million, 125 million. I'd say max. The most I could see it doing is 150, but that is a reach. I really think 150 is, I don't think it's feasible, but maybe. I mean, It's hard to tell. It's going to be really hard to tell. This number is either going to blow people out of the water, or it's going to be a really big disappointment. Like, there's just no middle ground, I feel like, for this film. Like, it needs to, 100 million is definitely going to happen, I think. So yeah, I'll go 125.